Let's start. And please let me know if there is any issue, if the slides are lagging or something like that. So today I'm going to talk about if we can generate sustainable landscapes with AI. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Robert Schuck, and I'm originally trained as a landscape architect and urban designer. I have a bachelor's degree from Szent István University, Budapest, and a master's degree from Copenhagen University, Denmark. And I lived in 4 different countries and have professional experience and study experience from 4 different places. Right now, I reside in Sweden, and throughout this experience, I got to work in different cultural settings with different design professionals. So I got a really good understanding of the workflow of architects and different planning professionals. And from the very beginning of my studies, I had a focus on digital tools because I always felt that these tools have big capability in transforming our work life, and they open up a lot of new possibilities for us. So naturally, I've been closely following the AI boom from the very beginning, and I tried over 100 AI. And right now I'm working on my own company, Arc Futura, and my goal is to help architects and planners achieve more innovative designs and save resources through AI integration. Let's start with actually defining what is AI. I hear a lot of misunderstanding and people misusing this term quite a bit, so let's clear it out. AI, by definition, is a branch of computer science that deals with the creation of intelligent agents, which are systems that can reason, learn, and act autonomously. From this definition, you can see that this is quite a broad topic, and a lot of things fall into this category. Today, we are going to focus on generative AI specifically, which is a subset of study within AI, within the field of machine learning and deep learning. Generative AI is a type of AI that can generate new instances of data based on training data and algorithms. To give you an example, if you give many images of dogs to a generative AI, it will eventually understand what is a dog. It will have a definition of a dog. It will understand what features make an animal a dog. And it will be capable of generating entirely new images of dogs that are not any of the images that were included in the training data. The reason why I'm talking about generative AI, because they present a never before opportunity for us. They are very accessible, very available. They are often free or very cheap, and they are very, very powerful. In this category, we can find image generators like Midjourney and DALL-E, and large language model-based chatbots that you possibly heard about before, like ChatGPT and Gemini, also fall into this category. But generative design tools and video generators are also considered to be generative AI. But why would we even want to integrate AI into our workflow? What is the promise of AI? Well, the promise of AI is that it can save time, money, and energy. It can help us create better, more innovative designs. And it can help us explore new approaches that we might have not even thought about at all. When it comes to sustainability, according to the Boston Consultancy Group, the integration of generative AI tools can help us reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 5 to 10%, which is a huge difference. And it can contribute to the world economy with $1 to $3 trillion when it's applied to corporate sustainability. This is a very big number. So just to put it into perspective, the world's seventh largest economy, France, has the GDP of $3 trillion. So what we can win in corporate sustainability with the integration of AI tools into our workflows roughly can equal France's GDP. But when we talk about promises, I think it's also time to address the elephant in the room. I know that possibly many of you are worried, and to be honest, I was also more worried about this technology in the beginning. But the more I learned about this technology, the more this worry transformed into excitement. And I hope that today's presentation can help you transform your worries into excitement as well. And after this presentation, you will also approach this technology with more curiosity. Some of you might even ask, will AI replace us? To this question, I would like to answer with the words of Fei Lin, one of the world's leading AI scientists. She said, AI won't replace humans, but humans using AI will. We have been here before. Humanity experienced disruptive technological changes before. Think of the printing press, internet, or CAD softwares, to cite something more relatable. And in each cases, some jobs became automated, some jobs became obsolete. But at the same time, new jobs appeared. And in each cases, there were more new jobs created than how many was replaced. According to the World Economic Forum, by the end of the decade, we are actually most likely going to win 12 million new jobs in the global economy. And just to comfort you, our field is really complex, so you will need many, many automations to automate our job entirely. I don't think that this is likely to happen anytime soon overnight. Therefore, I would like you to see AI as a new colleague and not competition. It's not something that's coming for your job. It's a new technology that can be your assistant in your day-to-day work life. But how can we apply generative AI specifically for sustainability in our fields? Well, there is no specific tool for this. We don't have an application where you can upload your projects and they will come back more sustainable. We have to use generalist tools, and we have to find how can we apply them so they can help us increase sustainability in our projects. And this is what I'm working with mostly. Just a quick reminder, sustainability has three spheres: environmental, social, and economic. We physical planners often tend to focus on environmental sustainability because this is the kind of sustainability that's the easiest for us to grasp. But let's not forget about the two other aspects either. But we are going to start with environmental sustainability. The first area where we can harvest the benefits of this technology is research and informed decision making. There is no doubt that there is a gap between academia and practice. It takes very long time for new knowledge to trickle down to practice and be applied in practice. And if we want to save our planet, we have to speed up this process. Luckily, now we have generative AI tools to help us with this. In this example, I prompted ChatGPT to find me the newest research papers on the connection between urban density and sustainability. And it did a really good job. It found several research papers that are relevant to this topic, and it provided a little summary and a link to the papers as well. This was one of the papers that it found. It's actually very relevant to the topic I asked for. And as designers, it's not always, the problem is not always that we can't find these papers, but often we don't really have the time to go through these often very long, 50, 70 pages long articles. So what we can do is we can use large language models based chatbots to summarize these texts for us. This article that I showed was not that long. It was just 17 pages long, but I know that would already deter a lot of people from reading it. So I asked it to summarize it, and it provided a really concise, really informative summary that was just half an A4 page long. And besides the length, fancy wording can be also an issue with academic texts. Sometimes they use very difficult to understand words and language. So you can ask these chatbots to simplify certain paragraphs, or explain it in lay terms, or you can even ask it to explain it to me like I was 5. It's a very popular prompt in the AI community. And if you don't speak the language at all that it was written in, you can even ask them to translate the text. The only thing that you have to be aware of, that the less speakers the language you are translating to or from has, and the less resources it has on the internet, the worse the output is likely to be. And the same goes for the theme. The more niche is the topic, the less good is the output going to be, simply because the less likely that those topics and those languages were included in the original training data of the language models. Besides academic research, site research can be also a very time-consuming process. If you have ever worked on a project that was not in the city where you are based in, or where you are from originally, you know that it can take a lot of time to find relevant geographic and historic information about the site. I certainly faced this problem many times when I was working on international competitions. But in this instance, I prompted Gemini to find me relevant geographic information about a certain site, and it provided like short write-ups and also really good links to resources where I can learn even more about these issues. Another very time-consuming process in the work of a landscape architect can be plant selection. And I often feel like architects, software developers create really good softwares for architects, but landscape architects are often left behind. Therefore, I decided that when I'm going to create my first AI application, it's going to be something that can directly benefit landscape architects. And this application is a plant selector, which is a custom GPT. You can access it through the GPT store for free. And this tool has the capability to streamline and speed up your plant selection process. It's not going to replace it, but it's going to make it much faster and smoother. So you need to go to the GPT store. This is right now a plus feature, but OpenAI is rolling it out to free users as well right now. So in the coming 2 weeks, you are supposed to get access to it. I can't promise, it's OpenAI who said it, not me. But you can go to Explore GPTs and just type in plant selector, and then you get access to this custom GPT. It will ask you a few questions about your site and about your requirements. And after you provide that data, it's going to give you recommendations. In this example, you can see how it works. And it usually not just recommends species in a list, but it also provides a little bit of information about the species. So yeah, this is Plant Selector GPT, available for free. Now we talked quite a lot about text-based things, but we are first and foremost visual communicators. I recently had a conversation with a friend of mine who runs her own office, and she told me that she finds it quite challenging to create compelling images for projects where they want to work with contemporary, high biodiversity, sustainable, close to nature design. And for this purpose, you can use image generators like Midjourney to create images that really sell in biodiversity and sustainability. These images you can use as reference pictures or base material for collages. And sometimes you get quite dull renderings from different rendering engines. Many of them are not optimized for landscape. Sometimes it's difficult to find the right kind of plants, or the model gets too heavy when you are inserting all these little perennials one by one. So when you get a dull rendering like this, you can also use the new generative AI features of Adobe Photoshop to make your images sell in more sustainability and biodiversity. This image is far from perfect, but it only took me 3 minutes to transform this into this. So it has a huge potential in saving time and energy. Generative design tools is the area where my journey in landscape architecture and my journey with AI in landscape architecture started. When I used to work at Marad Landskapsarkitekter, I was the one who led the implementation process of this generative design tool at the company. Tools like Autodesk Forma has the capability to generate many design iterations rapidly, like within a few seconds, which is already quite impressive. But where its biggest use in sustainability comes is that it can create rapid analyses. You can run these analyses within a few seconds, minutes tops, and you can get very good precise daylight exposure, sun exposure, noise pollution analysis, and you can use them to fine-tune your design and to optimize it for certain requirements. You can minimize the use of artificial lighting by maximizing daylight exposure. You can create attractive outdoor spaces. You can create habitat diversity, decrease noise pollution. And every time you change your model, you can run these analyses again. Even more, you can compare to analysis, to design by a certain analysis. In this case, I took 2 designs, which has the same BTA, but I placed the buildings in a way to maximize certain features. And you can see that there is a huge difference in between the 2 designs when it comes to sun exposure. Let's move on to the second sphere of sustainability, social sustainability. Research and informed decision making works exactly the same way as it works with environmental sustainability. Of course, you have to prompt for different topics, but it's the same. The other area where we can use these tools is dialogue process and the pre-studies. You can use them to craft surveys. I actually managed to craft a really good survey with ChatGPT within a few seconds. But what's even better is that these tools are capable of analyzing vast amounts of data really fast. So what you can do is after you sent out these surveys and you got back the answers, you can draw conclusions really fast. You can find certain instances of data if you want to. So you can really supercharge your analysis. Reaching out to certain user groups is very important during the design process. I think we can all agree on this. And I do not advocate for replacing reaching out to user groups by this method, but sometimes during the design process, we don't always have the opportunity to reach out to these groups. We can't continuously ask them for every little change in the design. So what we can do is we can upload our design proposal and ask ChatGPT to give us feedback from the perspective of a certain user group. In this example, I uploaded the plans of an aquatic center, and I asked ChatGPT to give me feedback from the perspective of a single parent of two toddlers. And it points out important things to consider, areas that we should improve, and it also pointed out some parts which already makes the design very welcoming for this specific user group. Some some participatory design tools also gained a lot of attention last year on LinkedIn. You might have seen a touch of Dutch. This tool was developed to Dutchify streets all around the world. Citizens can go in, find their street, and hit the generative design, the image generator, and it will transform their streets into a Dutch street, which means it's going to be more pedestrian and bike friendly, and also it's going to be greener. This is not a design tool per se, but it can help people to start thinking about our public spaces and outdoor spaces in a different way. I also tried it on a street nearby us. Necessarily that these are designs that can be implemented as they are, but they definitely have the potential to start a dialogue and to make people think about our public spaces in a different way. Urbanist AI is another generative AI tool that's being implemented in many cities. I know that right now they are using it in Helsinki to design the summer streets together with the citizens. So you can see here some examples what kind of images did they co-create with the citizens. But regular image generators and image editors, AI-based image editors, can be also a really good tool in participatory design. I created this image just in a few minutes in Photoshop, and I just want to demonstrate that these tools can create So we can co-create with citizens really fast vision images, vision collages, and they get to express themselves in our visual language, which I think is very powerful and can make communication much smoother between designers and future users. And we reach the last sphere of sustainability, namely economic sustainability. You can use generative design tools also to find the best spots for certain services and businesses. In this instance, I used the Autodesk Forma to find the best spot for a cafe. So imagine a place with optimal sun exposure, good foot traffic, minimal noise pollution, and you can use these tools, the analyses that you create with these tools, to find the best spots for different services and businesses. You can also use them to run real life, yeah, so to run cost estimates, not calculations. And these estimates are updating real life as you are changing the design. This is an example from Swap AI. And if you're thinking about phasing, you can also check how much would it cost to just build one phase of the project. In this example, I used Gemini to craft a life cycle cost analysis for a certain type of pavement in Sweden. And it did a really good draft. And later on, I could even run this analysis in ChatGPT with minimal data input. And I got a really good result from it. Just referring back to Plant Selector, the GPT I mentioned before, of course, besides supporting local native biodiversity and climate resilience, selecting the right plants also have an economic dimension to it. So it's also something worth thinking about. And actually, these were the examples I wanted to show you today, guys. If you are interested in learning more about AI in architecture and planning, please follow me on LinkedIn. I regularly post news and also use cases of these applications. You are also very welcome to reach out to me at robert@arcfutura.com, and also we can connect on LinkedIn. But I'm also always very happy to discuss these topics and exchange ideas with other professionals who are curious and excited about this technology. But also, if you have some worries, feel free to write to me, and I will try my best to make those worries into curiosity. And you can join the waitlist for my service. I'm soon launching a service where my goal is to help architects, landscape architects, and urban planners to save resources and create more innovative designs with the help of AI integration. So if you are interested in this, you can access the waitlist through the QR right top corner leads to the same site. So just feel free to scan that. And this is how the website actually looks like, where you can join the waitlist. And there are a few questions that I think worth discussing around this topic. Namely, who owns the rights to the generated content? Different countries are passing different kind of legislation. Some countries are going on very different tracks, and have very different approaches to this topic. How can we use AI ethically? How can we make sure that nobody gets hurt in this process and also everybody gets fairly compensated who is involved in the process? Can AI itself be sustainable? Today I talked a lot about how can we use AI for sustainability, but can we ensure somehow that this very energy consuming technology is solely run on green energy? And most importantly, was this presentation AI generated? Thank you for your attention. I really appreciate that you came and listened to my webinar. I hope you found it useful. I really hope that you are more curious about this technology now. And again, sorry for the technical issues in the beginning. This was the first time for me hosting a webinar, and apparently the test run went smoother than the live one, but I learned from it. Next time it's going to be better. And please feel free to send your questions or any kind of feedback in the chat. I will stay here for a little while so we can discuss them and I can answer your questions. I see that many of you said hi in the chat. Hi, everyone. I'm really happy that you are here. And I can see Enrico said that he is part of the worried demographic. I really hope that by now, Enrico, you are a bit more curious about render to the Photoshop processing. What textual prompts did you use to produce the final render? I cannot recall exactly what were the prompts word by word, but in general, they were really short prompts, and it was really something simple like lush biodiverse plantations and guy walking, or something like that. Really not advanced. The thing with the Photoshop AI tools, in my experience, the best is to use quite simple prompts and reiterate many times if it doesn't work well. These more complicated prompts usually don't work there. At least the current version. This might change very fast. There were two more comments that I would like to respond to. Enrico said, thank you, Robert, piqued my interest, still vary with AI. I understand. I think it's a process, and I'm really happy that you got more interested about it. Oreoloa said, thank you for doing this, Robert. We definitely have a lot to talk about. Cheers. I'm really happy to hear that. Please feel free to reach out to me. And Enrico sent one more message or comment. Thank you so much for responding to my questions. Of course, we'll do more practice with Photoshop. Yes, there might be several iterations required to hit the right image. Absolutely. This is true for every kind of image generator or image editor. I know that in many cases on social media, you just see the finished images, but actually, usually it takes quite a while to get the right images, and it takes many iterations. It's still a tool, and it's still a process. That was it for today. I'm happy that I managed to get back on StreamYard because I really wanted to say goodbye in person. And thank you everyone for joining, and stay tuned. Other sessions and exciting things are coming. And sign up for the waitlist if you are interested in my upcoming service. Thank you. Have a nice day. Reiterate many times if it doesn't work well. These more complicated prompts usually don't work there. At least the current version. This might change very fast.